I'm not teaching, I am publicly learning, but hi and welcome to Learning for the Life in the UK test part 319. The United Nations, so that's on page 125, while doing risk training, and if you participate in a risk training, that is at your own risk. So that's quite short, so if you're actually here for learning something about the United Nations, it's pretty short, but maybe it's a good overview. But before we're going to do that, we're going to do something else. We are learning 56 member states of the Commonwealth. We have the first three, Antigua and Barbuda, Australia and the Bahamas. And now we're having Bangladesh, Barbados and Belize. Now we're trying to find these three on the map. So Bangladesh, it is not so hard. I think I showed it already. It is there, east of India. So there's Bangladesh. The next one were Belize and Barbados. The problem is that I don't know where I have an idea where we are, but I don't know. We have more countries here in the middle. There's Brunei. So we have that already. But here's Indonesia. Then it's here Malaysia. There's Brunei. I don't think. We can't find neither Belize nor Barbados. Somewhere is Belize and Barbados. Bangladesh, Barbados and Belize are the next three. So we're now in 6 countries of the Commonwealth, of 56. Antigua and Barbuda, Australia and Bahamas. Antigua and Barbuda, Antigua and Barbuda, Australia and Bahamas, and now 3 more, Barbados, Bangladesh, Barbados, Belize. Now to the United Nations. The UK is part of the United Nations, of course just UN. So if someone talks of the UN, they're mostly meaning then the United Nations, and the United Kingdom is one of them. They are an international organization with more than 190 countries as members. So 190 members of the Earth and 190 countries of the Earth are part of the United Nations. The UN was set up after the Second World War and aims to prevent war and promote international peace and security. There are 15 members on the UN Security Council, which recommends action when there are international crises and threats to peace. The UK is one of 5 permanent members of the Security Council. So the United Nations, these are 190 countries together, which we're having a club. And so most countries of the Earth, some are missing, but most countries. After the Second World War, that club was formed. And they have the idea that never again a war should happen. And they're trying to get it by making promotion, or they're trying to get peace and security in the world. And there are 15 members of this United Nations Security Council. Now, there are 50 members of the United Nations, which are part of the United Nations Security Council. and they are recommending actions when there is an international crisis or a threat to peace. So there is the Security Council, in that are 15 members, and 5 of them are always there permanent, and the United Kingdom is one of them always. So the United Kingdom is always one member of the Security Council of the United Nations. I don't know the other 5, but I think the United States also, I think also France, something like that. And then there are 10 others, they are switching. One of 190 always, and these 15 countries coming together, and they are thinking when through, there's a problem somewhere in the world, there's a war somewhere in the world, and they're thinking, how would we stop it? And then they are making a recommendation, like, stop, something like that. And now the United Kingdom is always a member of the Security Council, which looks at a war and tries to find a solution. These are the United Nations. Now we're going to do just this training if you're just here for the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, so NATO, and these are just 2 sentences. You better go somewhere else if you want to know something about the NATO. But we're going to make that in the next part. So if you're just for that here, you can go directly to the next part. Now we're going to do this training. If you participate in it, that is around this, and the 6 countries of the Commonwealth which we had already are Antigua and Barbados, Australia and Bahamas, Bangladesh, Barbuda, the other thing with Barbados and Belize. Barbados, Barbuda. So it's Barbados is the single one, Barbados with A, Barbados. So an A, the single one, A, the first letter of the alphabet. And the other one is Antigua, Barbuda. Antigua, Barbuda. Now to this training, if you participate with set your own risk. We're having a good stand. We're having the fist next to us, fold fists, and we're bringing them down. And we're bringing them up. And again down. And we're having 3 rules. First one is that we are stopping immediately as soon as we feel pain. The second one is that we're going only as fast as we can go with a little bit of effort. So now force you just go as far as you can. That's it. And the third one is that we're not doing it. So for last time we will do it now. Down. And again up. That was a spotlight. Now we're going to do flashlight. Same setup, but now we're bringing this fist to the inside, to the outside. Same 3 rules. First one, stopping immediately as soon as you feel pain. Second one, we're going only as fast as we can go for a little bit of it. And third one, we're not overdoing it. And the last time. Now we're going to do the position. Flat hands next to us. And we bring these flat hands to the inside. And last time. Now we pack a clipper, flat hands next to us, and we bring them up to the sky, down. And again up, and down. One last time. Now quadrangular castle architect. Both arms out, hands form to fists. And we bring these fists to the inside. And up. To the outside. Down. To the inside. And I will hold them backwards. So down. and up, and to the inside. Having our next thrust, hand form to a fist, and we're bringing the fist down, and we're pressing slightly against it, carefully. But this will crab anxious to a fever. And putting a bit from the inside. And pressing a bit from the top. And we're pressing a bit from the bottom. Now on your right hand. It goes down. Into flexion, we're pressing a bit against it. Pulling a bit. And on top. And with our exercises, a stretching exercise, we go with moderate pressure out of a relaxing exercise, out of the middle part of the lower arm. And on the other side. One last time. So the 6 countries we know so far of the Commonwealth are Antigua and Barbuda, Australia and Belize. No, Belize was the 6th one. And then we're having Bangladesh and Barbados and Belize. The other one was Bahamas. So we want to learn at least the first verse, which is the only one printed here, of the national anthem of the United Kingdom. The name of the hymn is God Save the King. So the first line is, God save our gracious King. So God save our gracious King, and then long live our noble King. God save our gracious King, long live our noble King, God save the King. It's a bit too much. Maybe. God save our gracious King, and long live our noble King. There you can have it, that must be working. God save our gracious King, long live our noble King. And cricket. We had them all. Can we them? Rain stop play, batting on a sticky wicket, playing a straight bat. It's just a cricket and bowling a cookie. And now here, God save the King. No, that is the same line. God save our gracious King. God save the King. That's the third line. Long live our noble King. That was in the blue page. Blue page, the beginning of the blue pages. God save our gracious King. Long live our noble King. God save the King. God save our gracious King. Long live our noble King. God save the King. God save our gracious King, and long live the noble King, God save the King. Okay, that was it. 1 minute. The 4 flowers. England, the Rose, Wales, the Daffodil, Scotland, the Thistle, Ireland, the Shamrock. Ireland, St. Patrick, 17th March. England, St. George, 17th March was St. Patrick. England, St. George, 23rd April, and Wales, 1st March, and St. David, and Scotland, St. Andrew, 30th November. And Vaishiki is the festival of Vaishik, for the founding of the Kula community, and it's celebrated with dancing, parading, seconds. We'll do it again. So, God save our gracious King, long live our noble King, God save the King. And Antigua and Barbuda. Antigua and Barbuda, Australia, Bahamas, Bangladesh, Barbados, and Belize. I thank you very much, and have a nice day.